Welcome to The Dependence, a podcast of conversations about how our dependence on forces outside of ourselves can help or hinder our growth in our lives. My name is Jamie Adams, and I hope you enjoy your time here. Well, hey there. Welcome to 2026. The Dependence. We are back after a year. I cannot believe I did not record a single episode of this podcast last year. I fully intended on spending a bunch of time on this. Life got busy. Other priorities kind of snuck in, and I just didn't do anything last year. I actually recorded a couple that I didn't feel great about, so I just decided not to publish them. But I'm going to try to do quite a bit more than I did last year. I've got quite a few priorities this year as well. But this is a priority. I want to do more of this. There's a lot of people in my life that I want to have conversations with, that I want to share, that I think would be fun, that I think would be funny, that I would think could even maybe add some value to some things that people are going through, just to hear from the perspectives of other people that I know have great success and also have some struggles. So that's a lot. That's a big purpose of this podcast, is to just talk about how relationships and life and things kind of have good or bad influences on us, and how we handle those things, and how we learn from those things, and how we move on from those things, and just continue to grow. So, but I thought for this particular episode, I don't have a guest, but it is the beginning of the year still. It is Sunday, January 11th. I spent the weekend back in Louisiana with family and doing some stuff relative to one of my goals for the year. And I thought that for this episode, that what I would do is that I would just share my goals for 2026. Now, for context, I write goals down almost every year. I have for at least the last 15 or 16 years. I've still got most of them in various journals or pieces of paper. I try to look at them throughout the year. I didn't do a great job of that in 2025, if I'm being honest, but when I look back at them, I actually accomplished quite a few of my goals, which is great. There were a couple that I missed on. There was one that I just completely didn't do anything with, if I'm being honest. So this year I tried to narrow them down. Last year I wrote down 7. It's a lot. This year I wrote down 3. Now each one of those 3 has kind of sub bullets, some specific tactical things that I want to do in order to kind of hit those goals. But I thought I'd share the goals with you, and I thought I'd do it for a few reasons. Number one, I think it's good accountability for me. I did share these with some friends of mine. I shared these with some people at my team at work. But why not just get it all out there for the world to see? Maybe some extra accountability would be good. Number 2, I thought that maybe these would be perhaps encouraging to other people. And if you're sitting on the fence on some of these things, maybe this would be helpful. I think there was a third reason, but I can't remember what it was. So I'll just jump right in. I've got 3 goals for the year. They're all pretty simple. Like I said, there's some tactical things associated with each of the goals I'll walk through. But the 3 goals are around health, wealth, and relationships. So I'll start with health. Specifically, what I said is I want to feel and look my best physically, so I'm more capable of executing life. Some would say I need to put down a specific weight target. I don't really have one. I'm 200 pounds, 5'11". I'm not horribly out of shape, but I'd really love to be closer to 180, 185, I think. So if I got to get down and specific, that's what I would say. Steps that I'm doing to kind of get there, I'm going to partner with a health professional. Actually, I partnered with a concierge medicine practice. Started out doing a bunch of blood work. Did a GI test just to check out gut health. Did a cardiac calcium scan just to see That's a precursor scan for calcium in your arteries. Got a little bit of history of heart disease in my family. Did a hormone test. Anyway, did all that last week. Some of the stuff's come back. The blood work came back. It was great. So I'm pumped about that. Still waiting on a couple of the other things, but I'm off to a good start on tactic number 1. Tactic 2 was improving my diet and eliminating sugar. I don't eat candy. I love dessert. It's a problem. People that know me know that it's a problem. I think they actually secretly like it because, most people enjoy dessert and I'm usually the guy that orders it. So, but I do need to figure that out. I need to be a little bit better, more disciplined about that. I don't think I'm going to have a big problem with that this year. Excited about tackling that. My diet is actually pretty good at home. It's pretty bad when I'm traveling for work or traveling for fun. But, again, not going to get militant. I'm not going to go carnivore or keto or anything crazy. I just want to get a little bit more disciplined about that. Third, I want to limit my alcohol intake to 2 nights a week. When I'm home, I don't drink a ton. But when I'm out and about with friends or I'm traveling, tend to have a couple of cocktails. Sometimes more than that. Probably not great for you. Certainly the older I get, I can tell that recovery is just really, really crappy. So I'm going to tighten that up. Already off to a good start with that this year. Going to move my exercise from 3 to 4 days a week to 5 days a week. And last but not least, going to get more sleep. I'm targeting 7 hours of sleep each night. I'm usually good for about 6:15, sometimes less. So that's a big area of opportunity for me. Definitely feel better when I'm more rested. So that covers health. Let's jump into wealth. I wrote down, I want to create a financial situation that enables me to help more people who need resources and frees me up to enjoy life more. I wrote down some specific targets. I'm not going to share those with you because I don't think that they're important. But, at the end of the day, I'm very, very grateful for just the financial situation that God has put me in through my career and some good investment decisions. I love helping people, be it donating to nonprofits and or to churches, or just helping people in my life that maybe come up against hard times. So I want to be able to do that at will, even more than I do today. And of course, I want to do other things like take trips and see more of the world and all those things. I've gotten a lot better about that the last few years. Didn't do a lot of vacationing until I was around 40, outside of kind of the occasional yearly family vacation trip for 5 or 6 days in Florida. But I've been way better about that the last few years. Traveled to Europe a few times, traveled to Mexico a lot, love Cabo. So I want to be able to do those things. So some tactical things around this. I wrote, I want to eliminate wasteful spending, specifically on alcohol. I want to continue to invest my income in ways that ensure it will compound. Done a pretty good job and I've had some great mentors. I've got great financial advisors that kind of help me in that category. And then I want to continue to explore new investment opportunities to make more money in maybe some new areas that I'm interested in or could add value in. Some of those could be investing in other companies. I've got some investments in some other companies, some early stage startups, a franchise company, and then some other small things. Thinking about real estate, but I just don't really care about it a whole lot. I don't love real estate. I'm not really been that interested in it. So we'll see. I may just kind of make myself lean in there a bit. And then last but not least, relationships. I wrote, I want to be better at developing and caring for relationships in my life, specifically God, family, friends, colleagues, and hopefully a partner. Partner being, I'd love to eventually get married and to maybe have kids. 45, so the clock's ticking a little bit, unless I want to be like that 80-year-old with, his kid graduating high school. I'm not quite sure that that's what I'm going for. But fortunately, I've got great relationships with my family, with my friends. I want to continue to build on those. I want to lean into my relationship with God and with Christ more through studying scripture and through prayer and just through community with other like-minded people that are believers. Can never have enough of that in your life. I'm certainly learning that the older I get. Some specific things I wrote down in this category was to be others focused all the time. That just means to be looking at how I can add value and how I can put other people before myself. Some people talk about, and I've definitely fallen into this trap, and there's probably a little bit of a happy medium, but there's this idea around you can't take care of others if you don't take care of yourself. And I believe that to be true, but I just personally have found that when I focus on how I can help other people more, things just tend to go better in my life. And sometimes I find that that's difficult. Sometimes I find I'm like, man, I'm tired and I don't know if I've got time to do this or help this thing over here or listen to this person talk. But I just think that that's pretty selfish. Maybe that's just me. Actually, I know it's not just me because I know other people that feel that way, but certainly for me, I want to be others focused more than I am. So that's a big target, a big tactic for me in this category. Second is I want to slow down and live more in the moment. The third is I want to work on my physical, emotional, and spiritual health. I find that when those things are locked in and in order, that I'm just a better person. I'm better for myself. I'm better for the people in my life and people that I encounter. Next, I said I wanted to pray more from a state of knowing. Sometimes when I find that I pray, I find that I'm just doubting the words that are coming out of my mouth, and I don't really know that I believe that what I'm asking for or confessing that that God is listening to or is going to do anything about. And that's just not true. I know that that's not true because there's just scripture all over the Bible that I believe that that just is counter to that. But I need to do a better job of praying from that state of mind. And when I don't, then in my case, asking the Spirit to intercede for me and to do that on my behalf. And then lastly, I wrote, I want to be direct and always be kind. I'm usually good about being direct, specifically in work scenarios. I'm not always great about being direct in my personal life. I got to be better about that. Usually pretty good about being kind, but also, get a little bit wound up sometimes. Actually, I think I'm really good at being kind, but I do get wound up sometimes, and sometimes that manifests itself in being a little bit snappy. I got work to do on that. So, but those are the goals: health, wealth, relationships. That's what I'm after this year. I'm going to try to stay focused on these things. If you hear this podcast and you catch me tripping up on these things, please feel free to call me out about it. I certainly could use the help. Would love to hear about your goals. If you want to share those with anybody, if you don't want to share them with me, completely get that, but maybe share them with somebody in your life. Maybe that'll help you. Maybe that'll help you get a little bit closer to hitting your targets, hitting your goals. And last but not least, if you enjoy this podcast, I would ask you to do a couple things. Number one, despite where you listen or wherever you listen, subscribe to it, hit a like button. All those things kind of help out. Maybe get it spread out a little bit more, distributed to some more people. So that's number one. Number two is if there's people that you think that I should have a conversation with that would love to talk about how their dependence or how dependence on themselves or dependence on God or other people or things, specific ways that those dependencies have had positive and negative impacts on their life, I'd love to have a conversation with people like that. Doesn't matter what walk of life they're from. I've got some things lined up. I'm excited about them. I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about my goals, and I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. Here's to a great 2026, and I look forward to recording more of these and getting more of these out really, really soon, okay? Until then, hope you guys have a great morning, afternoon, evening, and we will talk soon. Take care.